Hey there, continuing with our series on Python operators. Today I am going to discuss about logical or Boolean operators. I have already discussed about arithmetic, assignment and comparison operators. There are three Boolean operators, and or not, and at the end of this video I have got a bonus tip for all of you. Now let us start going. The first one is AND operator. It takes two Boolean expressions, one on the left hand side of and another one onto the right hand side of and then evaluates whether they are true or false, like this. Let me write a couple of more. Third one being false and true, and the last one is false and false. Now here, if you pay attention to line number 2, there are two Boolean operators onto the left. One is onto the left hand side of and, which is true, another one onto the right hand side, which is also true. In line number 3, one is true, that is onto the left hand side of and another one is false onto the right hand side of false. Similarly, in line number 4 and 5. Now if I run this line of codes, logical.py, yeah, so you will notice that first line, that is line number 2, it evaluates to true. So if both the expressions are true, both the Boolean expressions are true, it is going to evaluate to true. But if either of the expression is false, as is evident in line number 3, 4 and 5, it is going to evaluate to false. And this is what we call the truth table for AND operator. Let me make it a first copy and make it a comment and clear the terminal here. Next one is OR operator. Again, it also takes two binary values. I am just going to replace AND with OR. And unlike here, if I try to run this line of codes, what I am going to get here is that true, true, true and false. So if any of the value, if you observe these three lines of codes, if any of the values on either side of OR is true, it is going to evaluate to true. It will evaluate to false only if both the values onto the left hand side of OR and to the right hand side of OR are false. Only then it is going to evaluate to false, otherwise it is going to evaluate to true. This is the truth table for OR. So, and finally the third one is NOT. So if I just make it all these lines of code a comment, NOT operator, unlike AND and OR, it takes only one Boolean value and it reverses its result. For example, if I write not true, then it will evaluate to false, and if I write print not false, it is going to evaluate to true. Clear? Here you see false and true. Similarly, we can write something like this: not true. So now let us break up this line. Not true is false, you can see it here. Now we can replace this whole thing with false. So now it becomes not false. So not false will become true, and finally we can replace this whole line with true. So not true, that is going to evaluate to false. Let's see. Here you see. Let's make everything a comment over here. Before I proceed any further, let me tell you what is the priority of execution. Priority of execution for all these three operators is, first of all, not is evaluated, then and is evaluated, and lastly it is or, which is evaluated. If you combine logical operators with comparison operators and even further with conditionals, it becomes a very powerful tool. In fact, the comparison operators, if I go here and write 10 less than 20, it evaluates to true. So although 10 and 20 are not Boolean values, but their result is a Boolean. So we can do here something like this, and I can write here 20 less than 30. It is still going to evaluate true. Now let me put it like here, something like this. If I change this sign to this, greater than. Now if you notice here, 10 obviously is less than 20, but 20 is not greater than 30. So one of the values, one of the operations onto the left hand side of AND, although it evaluates to true, but this side evaluates to false. So now it is true and false, something like this line number 3. So now if I run this code, it is going to evaluate to false. So again, if I write something like that, this 10 less than 20 or 20 greater than 30. Now if you notice line number 22, 10 less than 20, it evaluates to true, but 20 greater than 30, it evaluates to false. So this line we can write here is that print true or false. So it becomes something like this, true or false here. So what it is going to print now, if I just try to run this line of codes, now here it is giving me true. So this way you can mix and match various logical and comparison operators and find out the results. Now the time for the bonus tip. Before that, let me make everything a comment here. Let me first define a list. Let us say 1, 2 and 3, L1. And another list L2 is equal to again 1, 2 and 3. And let me add here one more element, in both of them false. So in Python, true is 1 and false is 0. So if I go here and print something like this, print L1 and sum L2, so it will give me 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 3 6 and 1 for true 7, and here it will give me only 6. Here you see 7 and 6. Similarly, if you go and print something like this, print bool 0 and bool 1, let us run. So 0 evaluates to false, you can see it here, and 1 evaluates to true. Not in fact 1, I would say any non-zero value it will evaluate to false, sorry, true. So even if I make it -1, it is going to evaluate to true. You see it here. Let me make it 100 or better 255. Let us see what happens here. It is true, you can see it over here. So two bonus tips. I said initially 1, but here 2. That true is having the numerical value 1 and false is having the numerical value 0, and similarly zeros are false and all the non-zeros are true. That is it for the logical operators. If you find this video useful, consider giving it a like, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And I am going to upload all these codes onto my GitHub page, and I will share the link into the description box. Till that time, happy coding.